Now we arrive at independent production company to present this. Yeah, it's cutthroat all the time, but tonight it's super cutthroat, isn't it? To present this, someone who recently went from the cobbles of Coronation Street to the dance floor of Strictly Come Dancing. Now, since the series began, this lady has been the favourite to waltz away with the trophy. Tonight, she's defying the rule that you can't be in two places at the same time. As we speak, she's appearing on the results show on BBC One. Let's not ruin it for people at home, okay? No pictures, because they don't need to know what we know about television, okay? I'm afraid to say, though, I have seen her backstage and she is smiling, so if you're recording it, she doesn't go home. Here with her professional dance partner, please put your hands together for Natalie and Artem.
Good evening.
Our secret's out. The competition for this BAFTA is almost as fierce as the competition on Strictly. All 4 nominees should rightly feel proud of the contribution they've made to children's television this year.
The nominations for Independent Production Company are...
Independent Production Company. Complete Control UK. Daryl McQueen.
Crazy, crazy, crazy till we see the sun. I know we only met, but let's pretend it's love. And never, never, never stop for anyone. Tonight, let's get some and live while we're young.
Kindle Entertainment.
Fish in the sea, know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel.
Something Else.
And the BAFTA goes to... Something Else.
Yeah, it's a huge honour. We won this last year for multi-platform. We genuinely didn't think we were going to win this one tonight. We were just in the tiki bar downstairs drinking dodgy cocktails and just thinking we weren't going to win. It's also a privilege to work at Something Else. We have some of the most talented people. These guys actually made the work. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to say, as the father of 3 children of varying ages, no one said it yet tonight, so someone should. Once again, we should all congratulate ourselves. The standard of productions across games, TV, and all the media we've seen for children in this country is absolutely outstanding. So congratulations to everybody.
Brilliant. If you're interested, I'll just ask Natalie Ben went. Right, feature film is next. Presenting this, we have an actor, a comedian, I know, shocking, an impressionist, a writer, a voiceover artist, and a director. And now, if he had any room left on his CV, he could add BAFTA presenter to it. Such a nice young guy, and when you realise he's the voice behind Darth Maul in Star Wars, you're almost keen for the Federation to do the business. This person has been in more comedy shows than you can shake a lightsaber at. Please welcome to the stage, Peter Serafinowicz.
Good evening. It's now that time of the evening where we spin the Wheel of Fortune and find out who is going to win tonight's random BAFTA. No, sorry, it's filmed. That's later. That's later. Good heckle. To hold anyone's attention, let alone a child's, for 90 minutes and upwards is a fantastic achievement. A boy fighting zombies, a video game character, a warrior Scottish princess, and a man in a boat with a tiger have all done that. Let's have a closer look at these nominations.
Feature film. Brave.
I am Merida, and I'll be shooting for my own hand.
What are you doing?
Merida, curse this dress! Merida!
Life of Pi.
No! Oh my gosh!
Paranormal.
I think I'm having an aneurysm. Oh, this is so typical of you. No, you don't understand. I'm the only one who can stop this, Courtney. Oh, I understand. I understand that this is all getting completely out of hand.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Welcome to Game Central Station. Trains for all game destinations now boarding.
It starts to feel hard to love your job when no one else seems to like you for doing it. Hey, yo, everybody!
I'm okay.
And the BAFTA goes to Life of Pi. Now, unfortunately, Ang Lee, Jill Netta, and David Womack aren't able to be here tonight, so by BAFTA regulations, the award defaults to me. So thank you very much. Thank you. Good night.
He was supposed to go through there. I think he has actually just buggered off with the BAFTA there. That is technically against the rules. Right, our next award this evening, animation. And this one is sponsored by Toon Boom. To present it, we're going to have an animated star. But then we worked out that would take about 6 months to create them frame by frame, so we decided against that. Instead, this evening, we have an actress who went to school at Grange Hill but didn't do too well because she ended up working in a kebab shop in Weatherfield. But it's been an exciting time for this young lady since she joined Coronation Street. She joined Corrie as Jess Burrows. I'm sure you know this story. She left and then almost inexplicably came back a few weeks later as Katie Armstrong. Only in TV where we're allowed to make up whatever we want, eh? Please welcome to the stage, Georgia Mayfoot.
Good evening, everybody. So many things go into making any animation. A great idea picked up by talented writers and then given to a huge team of animators utilising computer technology alongside good old-fashioned penmanship to bring it all to life. The nominations are as varied as they are brilliant, so let's take a closer look.
Animation sponsored by Toon Boom. The Amazing World of Gumball.
I think I'm proud of you, Richard.
Do you mean proud?
Yes, I think so. It's just, I'm not used to saying that word much, particularly to describe your father.
Room on the Broom. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand.
Down!
Cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. The Snowman and the Snow Dog. Strange Hill High.
Prepare to be nuzzled. To death. Oh, furry pets. Here's Kitty. No! Comrades, come back!
And the BAFTA goes to Room on the Broom.
Wow. Oh, thank you, BAFTA. Thank you so much. We're really, really delighted. This is a huge honour. Martin and I would like to thank the many people, the whole crew who worked tirelessly for 18 months to make this film, led by our brilliant directors, Max Lang and Jan Lachauer, standing behind me. Thank you. Yes. And we'd really like to thank BBC One for their incredible support over the last few years, and the authors of the book, Julia Donaldson and Axel Scheffler, for entrusting us with their magical story. Thank you so much, BAFTA. Thank you.
I just want to also thank all the amazing artists who helped us make this film. That's for you.
I'm amazed that took an hour and 20 minutes to happen. Right, next up this evening is drama. To present this, we have one half of The Wrong Mans. How good was that, by the way? He's also starring in the brand new Sky One hit, Yonderland. He also stars in Horrible Histories, where he was one of the few men to make the bubonic plague seem relatively funny. Ladies and gentlemen, he has been entertaining literally over thousands of years. From Horrible Histories, please welcome the brilliant Matthew Bainton.
Evening all. I haven't won that. I'm here to present it. Drama comes from the Greek word meaning action, something this year's nominated shows are packed with. Let's have a look at the 4 brilliant dramas that have entertained, thrilled, and amazed us this year.
Drama. The Dumping Ground.
I don't want to go. This is the family. If we could do something like that.
We're obviously trouble.
Yes, we are.
Tell me the truth. Is the house still standing?
Stepping Up.
I love you like you're my own. I just can't bear the thought of you getting let down again.
I'm not a little kid anymore.
I know.
Don't have to follow you, him, anyone else.
Wizards versus Aliens.
I'm gonna die. Not while I'm here.
Wolf Blood.
And the BAFTA goes to The Dumping Ground.
I'm really not the person who should be standing here with this. Where's Jonathan Wolfman when you want him? Mr. Wolfman.
Hey!
And Foz. Where's Foz?
Yeah, where's Foz?
And where's Foz?
Come on, Foz!
No, I really have no right to be up here. It should be Louise saying this. She did the most amazing job producing a very difficult show. It had to pick up from losing its leading lady. She did an amazing job, and really, she thoroughly deserves this.
No.
I know a bunch of kids, my best bunch of kids in the world, who just like to say this: Get in!
There you go. That's how you celebrate a BAFTA. I think. Right. This, ladies and gentlemen, is our penultimate award. To present it, please welcome to the stage a pussycat doll. Yeah. As a contestant on I'm a Celebrity, this time last year she was surrounded by the worst kind of creepy crawlies you could imagine, which was perfect preparation for sitting next to Jason Gardner on Dancing on Ice. Please welcome to the stage the gorgeous Ashley Roberts.
Hello, good evening. Woo! This year's nominations have entertained us in 4 very different ways. They've wound us up, amazed us, enchanted us, and turned our stomachs. The nominees are
Entertainment. Help! My supply teacher is still magic.
It's a brand new term and CBBC have sent these 4 magicians back to school. We had secret cameras all over classrooms and watched as they taught spectacular lessons.
Horrible histories, gory games.
Lightning across the ground here.
Look at that! They're like rats up a drain pipe, Dave.
Well, you'd know, Ratters. You would know all about that.
Wow, those lampreys couldn't be more slippery if they were covered in engine oil, hot chicken fat, and wrapped in an old banana peel.
Officially amazing.
Hello, I hope you're ready to be amazed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very nice to meet you.
He's excitable, he's loud, and he has a very unusual nut-cracking technique.
Sam and Mark's Big Friday wind-up.
It's Hacker, everybody! Hello, mate, you all right? It's Hacker!
Now, I think it's safe to say that we all know that this isn't actually Hacker Tea Dog.
And the winner goes to Help My Supply Teacher is Still Magic. Anthony Owen, Nick Hutchings, and Anthony Waldron.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you to Damien Kavanagh for commissioning it. Thank you to Bridget Banton. Thank you to Ninda Billings. Thank you to Hugh Lawton. Thank you to Cheryl Taylor. Thank you to Joe Godwin, all the brilliant people at CBBC. Thank you to Nick Hutchings, the series producer who turned my vision into reality. Thank you to 3 of our 4 magicians behind me, Fergus Flanagan, John Archer, James Went, and Catherine Mills. Double mention to John because he also writes the show with Nick. And thank you to Ian Sterling, our brilliant presenter. Thank you to everyone at Objective Productions, Andrew O'Connor,
Thank you, Hacker.
Andrew Newman. Thank you to Hacker. And also, finally, thank you. There's another one of these going to my buddy who's worked with me for the last 10 years, who's just left to go and get married in New York in 2 days' time. So this is for Anthony Waldron. He gets one of these as well. So thank you all very much.
I've got a quick word to say, and that's when Anthony interviewed me for this job, I told him I hated magic, and he still gave me the job. And here we are, 3 series later, and I love it! I'd like to say thanks to my family at home, and thanks to my magical family. They are the best.
Brilliant. Not a trampoline, all right? Blimey. That's a party that will keep on going. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now arrive at our final award this evening. Please be silent this evening for the special award given in recognition of creating outstanding contribution to our industry. Now, to make this special presentation, we're going to welcome to the stage Britain's most decorated broadcaster who's travelled the world filming his renowned natural history documentaries. When this man first started making these programmes, it wasn't just the zebras in black and white. Everything was in black and white. Since then, he's gone on, believe it or not, to win a BAFTA for television in black and white, colour, HD, and 3D. The man is a demon when it comes to the BAFTAs. He's also a remarkable talent. Please welcome to the stage and give a very warm welcome to BAFTA fellow, the great Sir David Attenborough.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. The recipient of the special award this evening has helped shape the imagination, the creative talents, and the resourcefulness of generations of children. Biddy Baxter started her professional career at the BBC as a studio manager in radio, balancing microphones, playing in all the music, and creating sound effects. She decided this purely technical role wasn't for her, and she applied successfully for a post in BBC Radio Schools Department, where she produced the famous Listen with Mother and junior English programs. Realizing television was the way to go for children's broadcasting, she won an attachment to BBC Children's Television and was immediately thrown in at the deep end, producing short programs for under fives. And at the end of that attachment, Biddy returned to her old radio job, convinced television was the most effective way of communicating with children. That first day, a job was advertised for children's television producer. The first time in years there had been a vacancy. Biddy was chosen to fill the position, and then, to her astonishment, she was told that she would be producing Blue Peter. The year was 1962, and her life was changed forever. Blue Peter was not new, but it was struggling to make an impact. Biddy turned the ship around, and over the following year, the following 26 years, she changed the landscape of children's television. Never before had a children's program influenced and shaped the lives of children to such an extent. With its signature hornpipe theme tune and sailing ship motif, Blue Peter remains one of the most distinguished and successful children's programs ever produced in the UK. And with broadcasting history spanning 55 years, it still remains today the world's longest-running children's series. Biddy's vision was to encourage viewers to join in. This was to be their program, full of their own ideas. It was never again a one-way medium. Many ideas introduced by Biddy and her team were groundbreaking and innovative. They devised the Blue Peter badge to reward children for their contributions. They received a daily, weekly postbag of some 7,000 letters. Biddy was instrumental in developing the lively programme format of arts and crafts, presenter challenges and fundraising appeals that became much loved by generations of children. Working alongside fellow producers Edward Barnes and Rose McGill, Biddy shaped the programme that would become a British institution. An enduring feature, the annual Blue Peter Appeals empowered children to organise bring and buy sales or collect rubbish for recycling. And over the years, these appeals raised hundreds of millions of pounds for charities and good causes, both here and abroad. Because of her British childhood is defined by mass memories of saving milk bottle tops, collecting old wool and cotton, and making ingenious toys and presents from not much more than cereal boxes and sticky-back plastic. The success of Blue Peter was unparalleled. Millions would tune in twice a week, and under Biddy's stewardship, the programme won 22 awards, including 2 BAFTAs. And in 1981, she was appointed an MBE by the Queen. In this, her 80th year, she continues to devote her life to good causes, and closest to her heart is the John Hosier Music Trust in memory of her late husband, which provides scholarships for young, talented musicians. The BBC has not seen a more dedicated, passionate, and pioneering children's producer in its history.
Easy one, Blue Peter.
3, 2, 1,
Biddy has been running up and down the stairs from the control room to the studio floor for 26 years. Every Monday and Thursday, Biddy has given last-minute instructions to 15 different presenters and dealt with thousands of guests on the programme. In the Blue Peter office, she's written and signed hundreds of thousands of letters to viewers. And as head of the production team, she's made Blue Peter one of the most successful and popular programmes in TV history.
It's one of the things that makes working for this audience so extremely rewarding, that you know they're going to remember what they see, what they hear, and you know they're very responsive, and you know they have this infinite capacity to find out about things.
Well, we had lots and lots of cards in, thousands of them, and over 300 different names, and the one we've chosen is Jason.
Biddy is absolutely passionate about one person connected with Blue Peter, the viewer.
Biddy would never be prepared to accept second best.
What makes Blue Peter special really was the vision that Biddy had right at the start. Her alarm clock probably went dum bum bum at sort of 6:30 in the morning, and yes, she lived for the programme.
Could we try a bit of that?
Yes, we could.
Would you mind?
Just a moment.
There were very few powerful female producers or executives around, and Biddy was very visible. She was very, very vocal about what she thought was the right way for the programme to go, and that visibility showed how much she cared and was committed to the programme and the audience.
Now, a surprise for you. I wonder if you can guess what this is. Well, I'll show you. I'll take the top off. Can you see? It's a pencil case.
My first encounter with Biddy was this vision, immensely glamorous.
A blonde chignon swept up, 3-inch stilettos. Just so charming, so elegant. If someone had said, right, that lady is an editor, what does she edit? I'd have said Vogue.
One of the things Biddy always resisted was having a set as such, which was why there was always the famous sort of Blue Peter cyclorama, the white space, and it was a place where anything could happen.
Lulu won't be there.
All these dogs here.
And Biddy really loves to fill the studio up with amazing and unusual sights. Here, it was 104 dogs for a mass dog sit.
And leave your dog.
Almost the entire studio floor was covered with a replica of the Woodchester pavement, when Biddy had the brilliant idea of hanging a camera in the studio roof to show it to its best effect.
2 live shows a week, getting on for 90.
shows in the season. She didn't have a typewriter, so she would write the scripts on the back of old scripts to save paper.
And at 5 o'clock that day, no person, no thing would get in the way.
And you'd hear those stilettos come clickety-clickety-click down the studio stairs.
Just before we went on air, we'd be in the makeup room, which was requisitioned by Biddy as the office. So the makeup girl would be trying to get around everybody, you know, doing last-minute beautifying. And Biddy ignored all that and went on giving us notes.
I mean, in all seriousness, it's quite a thing to have a bit of that lava. And then you say...
Talking about lava, can I just interrupt something very important?
Yes.
Can we swap the order of handing out lava round? Because as Peter's got to move now, it's better if he's on the left. So
Yes.
hand out lava to Peter first.
It's a bit odd. Oh, but that's the funny, because the funny bit, he gives the big bit to Sarah and I get the little bit.
Doesn't matter.
This is
It
the way
doesn't
it works
matter.
out, doesn't it?
That's
Oh,
not
it doesn't, it's all
effective.
the same.
Just apply your mind and stop panicking.
It was always about the end product, you know, you're singing a verse too long, darling, cut it, you know, and she was phenomenal like that. She was in charge. And she collaborated as well with you as the presenter.
The pets obviously were a huge part of the programme.
Biddy had a saying, which was that fur and feather are more popular than flesh. And what she meant was that in terms of winning your battles with your audience, a lovely close-up of the dog was probably more box office than a two-shot of the two male presenters.
And there on the floor is our savage Petra.
They were a lure, so she was onto something there.
Mrs. Lux, actually, as you can see, has lots of St. Bernards.
She has...
All the presenters were under no illusion that the pets were the most important thing. You know, they really were the stars of the show.
Dear Karen, Janet and Mark, I would be pleased if you could write and tell me how I could get a Blue Peter badge, and please could I have your signatures, please, please, thank you, love from Christina, P.S. I'm a good fan of Blue Peters.
She set up, I think, the world's busiest correspondence unit.
We get an average of 4,000 letters a week, and some of those are answered on the programme, but an awful lot of them do get individual replies.
It provided the foundation to the programme in terms of ideas, and the reward for a good letter coming in, an idea, was a badge.
All children who win badges have index cards, and we put down their name, their address, why they won their badge, and then all incoming badge-worthy letters are checked against this, which means we can send children different letters.
The Blue Peter badge is great because people wanted them so much. And if you have something like that, which really feels like an achievement when it's pinned onto you, then you're doing something right.
It is a kind of an accolade.
Dear the Blue Peter cast, I think it's incredible how you make so much money from bits of old junk.
Hello.
Hello.
And we've done it. The 3 million target flashing on our totalizer.
Biddy's philosophy about the Blue Peter appeal was a canny one, and that was that charity doesn't begin at home. And that's why she always alternated an appeal for a domestic cause with one for an international cause.
We actually managed to reach our target of £3 million. In fact, we not only reached it, we exceeded it.
She understood that people wanted to help other people. It's part of good nature, and especially when you're young. And once that was harnessed every year, it became such a powerful thing.
Biddy was a thrill seeker on behalf of the audience.
I hope Tosh hasn't gone for a cup of tea.
This was the moment I'd waited 3.5 years for.
Because Biddy persuaded her to, Janet became a heroine to a whole generation of kids.
Yeah, it's a bit dirty. Never mind, I don't suppose anybody will see that.
The awesome moment had arrived and my heart was thumping. At last I touched the Mary Rose's timbers.
All right. Well, this is one moment where I'm pretty glad that the experts are in charge, I can tell you that.
You just have to feel which way up it is.
That was the first live ultrasound scan on television. That could only ever have been Biddy's idea.
Oh, isn't that marvellous?
Sometimes you think of the fear.
What, Turner?
This is unreal, it really is.
Don't bite him.
Oh, hold on, Peter. There's a train coming.
They've been following the restoration of an engine, the 532 Blue Peter. There were thousands and thousands of children. It was an indication of where Blue Peter was in the consciousness of children at that time.
We're having a slight penny down here, a slight problem.
Biddy was always able to seize an opportunity and make more of it. So it wasn't a royal safari, it was a Blue Peter royal safari.
Hey, you king of the jungle. You couldn't ask them how far they've come to Nairobi or if they've lived in the outskirts.
I'm afraid that today we're starting Blue Peter with something very sad indeed, because yesterday poor old Petra died.
I think however much you're ready for sad news, it's always a bit of a shock when it actually happens.
Anna Frank's actual handwriting, and we are very grateful to Anna's father, Mr. Otto Frank, for getting the diaries from the safe in Switzerland where they're kept.
Bjorn, Anna, Frida and Benny, who go together to make up ABBA. And first of all, I'd like to say welcome to Blue Peter.
Let's take a look at the one that I've finished.
Biddy is passionate, very smart. She is tenacious. She made everybody feel that their ideas mattered.
Above everything else, I'd say courageous.
It gives me the great pleasure to present BAFTA's special award to Biddy Baxter.
I'm absolutely speechless, and I mustn't be. David, Mr. Chairman, fellow members of BAFTA, honoured guests, please forgive me for speaking in cliches, but I truly am overwhelmed and deeply grateful to receiving this special award. Looking back, I've been enormously lucky in so many ways. To get into the BBC in the first place was unexpected. In the last of my 3 university years at Durham, I was sent to see a Mr. B.E.Q. Smith, the University Appointments Officer. All the men in my year were being sent by him on exciting sounding assignments to Shell and ICI and publishing and various areas of the arts. His office was piled high with advertisements, but if you were a woman, Mr. Smith had only 2 suggestions: a secretarial course or teacher training. I didn't despise either of them, but I just didn't want to teach or type. It was there, however, that I spotted this BBC advert. Are you interested in the arts? Do you enjoy meeting people? Do you have ideas for BBC Radio? Mr. Smith, I gasped, this sounds marvellous. But Mr. Smith was far from encouraging. Oh, Miss Baxter, he said in a rather disdainful voice, no one from Durham has ever joined the BBC. Well, of course, that was it, and I applied immediately. And I had a similar setback at my first BBC interview when the only woman on the board looked up and said, "Tell me, Miss Baxter, what would you do in a small space with a screwdriver?" I can't remember my reply, but I was accepted as a trainee radio studio manager. I wasn't very good. On one awful occasion, when I was sent to a studio in the sub-basement in Broadcasting House with an unfamiliar control panel, I caused the overseas news to go ahead 10 minutes late. Back in the studio manager's office, I wrote my log in tears. But when the senior studio manager read it, he said, "Oh, Biddy, I don't think that's quite right." He rewrote the log, showed it to me, and to my amazement, it wasn't my fault at all. An invaluable BBC lesson in passing the buck. But I knew I wasn't cut out for a career in studio management and was thrilled when I successfully applied for a producer's job, first in BBC Schools Radio and then in BBC television children's programmes. It was an amazing challenge to be working for the most important audience of all, children, because the Jesuits were absolutely right when they said, "Give me the child until he is 7 and I will show you the man." What a challenge to stimulate, entertain and enthuse the adult audience of the future, and how enormously lucky I was to work for the BBC management's dream team, Hugh Weldon, Paul Fox and David Attenborough. I was equally lucky to work with the most brilliant colleagues. Edward Barnes, who after creating Newsround went on to become head of children's programmes, and Rosemary Gill, who sadly is no longer with us, who went on to be editor of the Multicoloured Swap Shop. Without them, the new Blue Peter would never have happened, so thank you, BBC, for letting us get on with it. But I'm always mindful of the fact that in my experience, whenever you feel on top of the world and all is going wonderfully well, you are in great danger of getting your comeuppance. For example, when we won our first BAFTA in 1969, the awards ceremony was held at the London Palladium. Eric Morecambe and Ernie Wise were the compares, and I had bought a gorgeous Janice Wainwright evening dress in delicate shades of cream and pale coffee and bronze. As I approached the stage, Eric Morecambe shouted out, "Oh, she's come as a Mars bar," which was pretty deflating. In 1975, our annual appeal was for the Riding for the Disabled Association. We'd asked children to collect old wool and cotton to provide the RDA with a pony and pay for all its training. Of course, in true Blue Peter tradition, every stage of this training was filmed. And one of the highlights was the first time the pony, named appropriately Rags by our viewers, was saddled and actually ridden. As patron of the RDA, Princess Anne was to be the very first person to get on her back. Unfortunately, this information was not passed on to HRH until the day of the filming, and she was not at all pleased. Edward did his best to explain that seeing her riding Rags would mean so much to all the children whose efforts had provided her, and the princess rather reluctantly agreed, but it certainly cast a cloud over the proceedings. In the middle of the field where Rags was grazing was a stone horse trough, which everyone but me, being very short-sighted, seemed to be aware of. I hit it just below the knee and fell full length, handbag and all, into the water. As I climbed out, soaked to the skin, I heard the lady in waiting shout, "Oh, look, she's gone in the trough." The princess roared with laughter and the day was saved. But of course, the true stars of the programme are the Blue Peter badge winners, because one way of winning a badge is to send a letter with a good idea for the programme or a criticism. So there's this massive army of stringers and the biggest and best focus group of all time out there. And this award, dear BAFTA, could not have been won without them. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sir David Attenborough and the special award winner this evening, Biddy Baxter. And what a fitting and perfect way to end this evening, because I think whether it's Biddy for 25 years on Blue Peter, or whether it's all of you in this room this evening who've picked up awards, what always separates children's programming from everything else is the bravery to push the envelope and take the risks that no one else dares to do. Biddy did it, you do it today, and that's why you're all so special. Thank you very much for being here this evening. Congratulations to all of the winners. On behalf of BAFTA, have a wonderful evening, and hopefully we'll see you next year. Thank you very much. Good night.